Welcome, gamers from around the globe. You've dropped into the best place for Game Pass news. That's right, it's the Game Pass Tracker Show. This is episode 150, recorded live Thursday, April 25th. I'm Nick Metzger here with the best dang co-host a guy could ever have, Mr. Sean Abbott. We're going to fill your brains with all this week's bits and bobs of Xbox, like, surprise, we got Jedi Survivour. Jedi Surpriser. Anyways, Fallout 4 update available now, and we're going to talk about the games we've been playing and probably a little bit more about the Fallout show. You better sit down, buckle up, because Game Pass Tracker Show is one crazy ride.
Hey up everyone, welcome to today's show. We're proper chuffed to have you all here on your favourite Xbox Game Pass podcast, the Game Pass Tracker Show. You can track us down on most social networking apps you have. Just have a gander for GPT gaming news. Got out to say, or got a question, don't be shy, drop us an email. Show at gamepasstracker.com. If there's enjoying what there's hearing, we'd be over at moon if they could have leave us a review on the go-to podcast platform. It really helps us spread word and reach more fans. We wouldn't be a Game Pass show without bigging up the big daddy itself, Xbox Game Pass. If there's fond of Game Pass, digs our show and fancy showing the support, toddle off to link in description and sign up to Game Pass Tracker on Xbox.com's website. They'll only be backing us, the Game Pass Tracker Show and family, but they'll also be joining best gaming subscription going, Xbox Game Pass. So sign up to whatever level suits them, be it game, PC Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate. Just play their own style by using code in chat or in show notes. They'll be helping us keep on creating top-notch content we love to make for you and our Brill fans. So without more ado, Nick, let's get stuck into Game Pass headlines.
All right, we can't just move past that. So I gotta, we can't just be like, okay, well, now on to Game Pass headlines. Is that if you were talking with a bunch of friends right now, is that how you would be speak? Is that how you would speak? That's what I gotta know.
Not me personally, but that's as Yorkshire dialect as you can possibly get. So there's lots of other bits and pieces. So there's obviously the Cockney rhyming slang. So you've got the apples and pears and chips and peas and stuff like that for knees and stairs. But that's as Yorkshire as it gets. The shortening everything, very stuff like that. But we have a lot of the different other sayings and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, that's as Yorkshire as an introduction to a podcast as you can possibly get.
Well, there you go. Sending it out there for all of us to learn and for all of the Yorkshires out there to feel like they're right at home. All right, moving on to Game Pass headlines. Out this week, April 23rd, Ayodin Chronicle, 100 Heroes. I said that already. April 23rd. It's out everywhere. That was Tuesday. And then out today, a whole swath of games. April 25th. Another Crab's Treasure, which, man, I really wanted to get to this before the podcast, but there's just no way. It's available everywhere, out now. And then the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, available on console and PC, also out now. And then the big surprise, what? Star Wars Jedi Survivour. Out now, available on the EA Play console. So basically Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. Fantastic. I am very excited to have all of these out now. Another Crab's Treasure is a Souls-like, everybody knows, Jedi Survivour, and then Fallout 4 Next Gen update. So, Sean, what is coming out next week?
So next week, we spoke about these last week. Is Manor Lords, that's coming out on Game Preview, but that's coming out on PC only. And as we alluded to last week, Manor Lords is a medieval survivor strategy game, which is why it's sat quite nicely in the PC Game Pass realm, because it's going to be one of those games that you have to play with a mouse and keyboard rather than scrolling around with a cursor with your analog sticks. And then the next game that's dropping on April 30th is Have a Nice Death. And that's coming to everything, cloud console and PC. And it's a dark, charming 2D roguelike. You play as an overworked death who, reaping the souls everywhere. His employees have gone AWOL, completely throwing off the balance of all the souls and ruining his vacation plans. So, you've got to pick up where they left off and basically reap souls.
Reap the souls.
But yeah, that's coming out April 30th. I mean, that sounds like a really crazy game to play.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. I do agree. And then we talked about it last week, but you Game Pass core peeps, you got new stuff coming out as well. You have the Deep Rock Galactic Critical Corruption Season 4. That also wins the title for the longest name. Super Hot Mind Control Delete, which Sean is super excited for. And Wreckfest, also which Sean recommends. I'll be.
I like it. Look how he did that.
I'll be here all week. So yeah, all out on Game Pass Core. The quarterly drop. Yeah, I'm telling you, I can do this all day long. The Game Pass quarterly drop, just for you people. I'm gonna go back in my hole now. I'm gonna go back in my shell.
Yeah, what people need to remember is we're dads, so we there's a lot of dad jokes that we enjoy, and puns and plays on words.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. I do it just because my kids hate it so much. So, anyways,
I agree.
So yeah, all out there for your Game Pass core people.
The newest announcements that we've had is the two that we've already spoken about. So we got Jedi Survivour and Fallout 4's next gen update has dropped. So they're the two newest announcements for Game Pass that you're going to get this week. Hopefully looking forward to a few more because what we've got there on the dock only spans till April 30th. So we obviously got the May the 1st and everything from there onwards. But for games that are leaving on April 30th, 7 Days to Die, Besiege, EA Sports, NHL 22, Loot River, Niku, and Ravenlock.
That's one of my games.
And by the sound of it, Nick wants to get to that one before.
Yeah, I do want to play around. It's only like a 3 or 4 hour game, and I'm loving these 3 or 4 hour games right now. And it looks like a fun puzzly type game. I want to get to that, but I'm gonna try to do that in the next 5 days, which you think would be far enough time to play a 4 hour game, but life is not working with me right now. Not cooperating. That's the word I was looking for. So anyways, as I always say, if you're interested in any of these games, you have till April 30th to beat it or buy it for 20% off with your Game Pass sub. If it's a minute past April 30th, you're screwed. You're going to pay full price. You're going to love it.
And they're pretty quick with that.
They are. Yeah, that's 100%. So, Sean, are you interested in any of the games that dropped this week or coming out next week?
I want to try Have a Nice Death when that comes out on April 30th. But between now and then, I've played some Jedi Survivour. I've been playing Fallout 76, and I've also given the next gen update for Fallout 4 go this evening. So I've got quite a lot to play.
Yeah, that is quite the load. I am interested in another Crab's Treasure for sure. I don't know if there's going to be like the Souls-like that I'm going to just hate and I'm going to quit. There's a good possibility.
Can't be any worse than Elden Ring.
It can't be any worse than Elden Ring, which we love. We know it's a great game. It's just not for us, okay, people? So just go.
We tried. We really did try.
We did.
Nick tried harder than I did.
Oh, the Pumpkin Lord's on. Hambone Johnny himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the Elden Ring Slayer. Welcome. Glad to have you. Yeah, I played the entire game through Hambone Johnny. That's how I look at it. I mean, we had our little like chat, and he was like, "Yeah, I beat this guy. And I'm like, "I'm still back here with the cat." So, F you.
At least you got that far. I couldn't get past the gatekeeper thing person. So, you know.
Yeah. So that's right. Yeah, you say Elden Ring, it's like the bat signal for Hambone Johnny. He's like, I shall come, I shall be there for you. So, anyways, yeah. So I really am interested in another Crab's Treasure. Like I said, it's cute, and I know it's gonna be like hard. It's like, but I'm interested to see how hard. The thing I hope it doesn't have is like all of the systems. The systems just add another layer onto Elden Ring that I just can't wrap my head around, you know? Like, how many fingers do I need to upgrade my weapons? And I just hope it's hard, and I pick up a shell, and I can use whatever I want as a shell.
Yeah. I mean, that was the system in Elden Ring that I was struggling with, is I didn't know what best attributes and everything to have to make things better. I was just kind of just hoping I could hack and slash my way through quite, you know,
and you can't.
dodge and roll, but it didn't work.
No, you cannot. Anyways, Hambone Johnny says the easy mode is they give you a gun and you can one-shot everything. There you go. I like that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd take that.
So I am interested in another Crab's Treasure. I do want to play Star Wars Jedi Survivor, but you just told me it was 150 gigs. That made my...
Well, it was for the X.
Okay.
So size-wise for the Series S, I'm not sure. Things have varied before with consoles, so I'm currently going to quickly look at that and try and fill a gap at the same time.
You do it. You look it up. Let me tell you, at 150 gigs, a lot of things have to go. One, I need to beat Harold Halibut, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I really do want to beat it. There's a run button in that game, by the way. I will just say that. It'd been great if I'd have known that 30 minutes earlier. So I do want to beat that. That'll get me 50 more gigs of space. And I think
44 apparently for the Series S.
44. It's 106 gig difference.
Surprise! Apparently.
Wow. Well, all right then. Oh, well, that's not too bad. Yeah. See, so I just need to beat Harold. I beat Harold, and then I'll just get rid of it and put on Jedi Survivour, and it'll all be good. So, there you go.
134 for the Series X and 44. That's a massive difference.
That is. I feel like you just figured that out. I said
I'm
the first
shocked.
time it blew my name. It blew my mind. And you were like, yeah. And then all of a sudden you were like, that's huge.
It is huge.
I just did the math. That's like 3 times.
All right. It took me how many months did it take me to realize that there was a billion instead of a million with ABK? So,
I just imagined you over here like moving like abacus pieces. Like, hold on. No, this is a lot. This is a big difference.
Yeah.
I love you.
That's
They're like, why is Nick so mean to
5.
Sean? He's a real ass. Why's he gotta be like that?
The reason why Nick's really mean to Sean is because Sean speaks like he did at the beginning of the podcast.
This is how I am when I don't get sleep. See, I'm like, no filter, no effing filter. I just say it all. Anyways, and Sean's nice enough. He's a nice guy. So yeah, that is a huge difference. But those are my 2. Survivor, another Crab's Treasure, and you are kind of edging me to try Fallout 4, to ditch Fallout 76, and to just jump back into Fallout 4 now that there's this next-gen update, and hopefully I won't get stuck at a Codsworth, whatever.
Hold.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, bug, whatever it was. So I think I'm going to do it.
We'll talk when we get to the dashboard. I'll talk about why I'm pushing you towards Fallout 4 over 76. So.
Sounds good. Let's go into the X feed and then we'll hit the dashboard. The X feed's where we talk about our top stories, news bulletins, and our feature story. We have 3 top stories. The first one, Fallout London suffers a delay, and the developer wasn't even told about the Fallout 4 update. Tell me more, Sean.
Yep. So there was going to be a guy called Dean Carter who was part of the development team for Fallout London, which was going to be built within Fallout 4 as a mod on the back of the actual game. they've kind of, as exciting and as really nice as it is that we will get in this next gen update for Fallout 4, it's ruined like the years of work they've been putting into this, because Fallout London was going to be built on the back of Fallout 4. It was going to bring a whole new landscape, whole new missions, characters, NPCs, enemies, and stuff like that. All different kinds of outfits and everything. Um, you know, it was all there and pretty much ready to go, and they were going to drop and release this on April 23rd this year for the PC, which has now passed. We're on the 25th, so 2 days ago it should have dropped. But we got the news for the next gen update, and it's literally, in his words, is you'd think they'd at least had a conversation to be like, hey, look, you guys are at least notable. You're not official, but let's make sure we don't ruin this for the fans. They've been making this for 4 years. They've been putting a lot of hard work into it. And I think they showcased it at one point and showed it off. And it looks really good. It looked really interesting. But Bethesda kind of, at the last hurdle, I've turned around and basically shot them in the foot and said, no, you can't cross the line. It might be a quick fix. It might not be a quick fix. They might have to go back to the complete drawing board and have to do a lot, because the next gen update is really nice. I've been playing with it this evening. It is, the colors are there. Everything pops. Everything's a lot smoother. It doesn't look as washed out as it did when I played it on the Series X compared to how it looked when it first came out on the gen that it released on, which I think was the Xbox 360. Not 360, no. Xbox One. So, yeah, there was a massive upgrade for that. It's just a shame that obviously bringing the update means that they've then stunted the growth of Fallout London. I don't know if they can do a backwards compatible thing where you could run the previous generation and still play Fallout London without having the next gen modification in there. I don't know how fixed that is. That's something that maybe they might be able to do. So,
yeah, it's interesting. So I'm following the rabbit hole here, and so kind of reading and catching up and looking at it. So we knew that Fallout 4 had an upgrade for quite a while. It was supposed to come out in December, and then they delayed it into 2024. We didn't know when. I guess the kink is that Fallout London didn't know that this upgrade would affect their mod. Is that the catch?
Yeah, I think that's it's caused a lot of havoc with what they were building.
Yeah, so but where do you draw the line as a company for somebody who's not I mean, I understand these guys are bigger, but where do you draw the line to be like, hey guys, this is gonna cause you an issue? Then that's gonna get out to the whole mod community. I don't know. I don't know. This one's on the fence for me. I don't know if I really think Bethesda owed them anything, to be honest.
No, I don't think they owed them anything because they're not official. They are just a team of guys that have taken it off their own back as fans of the game and the franchise and the lore and everything that's like to go and make this huge mod, because obviously there's little mods all over the place that you can add things, but this was a pretty big like game changing mod that they were going to do. So it's not even says here, for those who are aware, Fallout London isn't affiliated with the festival server, so it remains a major DLC size mod with a world map that's about the size of the vanilla Fallout 4 Commonwealth and Far Harbor combined. So it's still a pretty huge map, but it's not like the full world map. Obviously, this won't be coming to Xbox release, but obviously all you PC fans will get there. What they do finish on is that, so we won't give a fancy release date announcement at this end because it might be the 25th of April. We might get lucky with a one-day fix, which is unlikely, but it could happen. Or it might be a month or so from now, but please know in good faith, it's sitting there ready to go, just awaiting those fixes. So as soon as it's fixed, it'll drop. So they are going to work on it. They are going to take, obviously, look at it, at how it affects them. I don't think it should take much, but I have never really done much when it comes to development of games and modifications. So,
Yeah. Well, with my extensive research, Sean, I think that I know shit about it, but I'm sure they'll get it done.
yeah.
No, I mean, it is a bummer for them. I can understand like their angst, but I also am like, well, you know. So that is, Fallout continues, as a add-on to this story. Fallout continues to dominate on Xbox as Bethesda reveals incredible player numbers. What are those player numbers, Sean?
So I think it was 5 million players were identified across the Fallout games. So that's not in one individual, that's across them all.
Okay.
In one day. 5 million people were playing a Fallout game all in one day. And I think that adds to the fact that the Amazon series has just lit the world up. I mean, I can't scroll through TikTok now without it like being. I kind of go through funny video, funny cat video, funny woman getting plowed by snow video, funny video, and then all of a sudden it's like Fallout, and then like, oh look, you could make new Coca-Cola at home, you can do this, you can do that, and then it's like the actors and stuff like that within Fallout and behind the scenes stuff of those. So it is taking the internet by storm. Where people that were never interested in the show in the game are now interested in the game. So it's just, yeah, it's doing gangbusters, as some people would say.
I can't wake up without getting a Discord message from Sean about a funny Fallout meme. So, I mean, that tells you how crazy it is. I mean...
the one I sent you with the weird doctor guy that like made the concoction for the then not the knight, the squire, yeah, who couldn't then be killed because you know he was fixing everything.
Hey, we're getting into stuff here. Some people won't want to know that.
It's been out for that long. Shush. But yeah, the way he like I wish somebody would look at me the way this guy looks at a chicken. That's the one that really killed me.
I still like the one with the power armor where you're like everybody thinks in the apocalypse they're gonna be like the guy with the power armor, but actually they're gonna be like the guy that she first comes into with like just wearing underwear trying to get the water tower to work. And I'm like, dude, if I'm the guy wearing underwear trying to get my water tower to work, I actually feel like I have done well. I'm actually like I'm okay with that. I will be that guy. He was nice, you know. I mean, he did drink her water, but I mean, overall, he was nice, you know. I mean, a lot nicer than anybody else she ran into on the surface.
Apart from the parting gift, you just stay here and be my wife.
Yeah,
I won't even talk to you.
He didn't try to like force her to, though. You know, I mean, hey, it's a pretty lady in the apocalypse. Sure, you're gonna be like, hey, listen, would you want to stay with me? You're a very pretty lady, and I'm in my underwear.
No, the show is doing wonderful things for the game. It's drawn me back into playing the game. So, and I'm already a big Fallout fan. So, for people who have never played the game but have been interested or on the fence about playing it, then watch the show. It's bringing people to it. I mean, I've spoken to people that have played, like maybe played Fallout 3 once when they used the game. And I've never gone to anything else, or somebody that's played like a little bit of Fallout 4 and stuff like that have then asked me, like, is it worth watching? Will I enjoy it, even though I'm not a fan of the game? And all I can turn around and say is, if you like your dystopian style shows, post-apocalyptic style stuff, with a bit of comedy, but you have an idea of the lore behind Fallout, go and watch the show. It's great.
Yeah. It is a really, really well done show. You gotta like the gore though. There's like gore in pretty much every episode, so you gotta be okay with that. Which I mean, it's not normally my main thing, but man, I was still nothing's worse than the first episode. If you get through the first episode and you're like, okay, that was over the top, but I don't know if I want any more than that, you're kosher. I mean, I think the first episode's the worst episode when it comes to that part.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. All right, so it's dominating. It made me download 76, but I never actually played it. Now I think I'm just going to delete 76 and play 4. Story number 2. Xbox games are enjoying a positive upward trend on PS5? That's impossible. I thought everybody on
Uh-oh.
PS5 was going to boycott Xbox and never play it. And it was that's what Twitter told me. This can't be a true story. This has to be false. I can't believe this.
No, not according to Game Insights, which is done by via True Trophies, which takes its information from over 3.1 million PlayStation accounts. Based on this, the most recent release of Grounded seems to be doing best on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 so far, with 49.1% more active players than Hi-Fi Rush's PS5 launch and 89.1% more than Pentiment's Sony debut, which obviously I don't blame everybody not wanting to play Pentiment because that game was
Hey, some
hard.
people loved it. Okay, it just wasn't for us. I literally woke up, I played Pentiment, and I fell back asleep. I mean, it just was not for me.
It was the music and the like the scripture writing thing.
Maybe
It
it
was
was.
just one of those games that like you were reading it and you could like the music and the chill and the calm and that you were just like, oh.
I would have named it Melatonin, but I mean, Pentiment's good too. You know, that's fine. No, but if you loved it, I'm very happy for you. It's all on me. I'm a dad and I sleep a lot. Good job for PS5 choosing Grounded. That's you guys are smart. That game is fantastic. Obsidian did great.
The one I'm looking forward to, and it says here, like with Sea of Thieves being on the horizon, I wonder what's going to happen with that game because it's a huge hit on the Xbox, and with Skull and Bones being the here and all there game for that kind of genre, I think Sea of Thieves is going to do massive when it hits PlayStation.
I would agree. I think there's a lot of people that have wanted to play Sea of Thieves over in the PlayStation world. I mean, to be honest, one of the reasons, and it's funny because I didn't play it very long, but one of the reasons I did want my Xbox was because I was like, that Sea of Thieves looks really good. So yeah, I think you're gonna get a burst of players when that game drops that are just gonna like play it like crazy. We'll see how long people stick with it. That's what I'm interested. Now, if you
it's one of those that you need a gang of people to play it right and play it regular to enjoy it. It's not one of those games you can dip in and out. So it's one of those heavy progression style games that you need some teamwork with.
Now, can you go
or at least
through
that's my feeling.
all this extra content? Like, I remember the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. Is that all still available? Can you do that like right now? Like,
it's not one of those. I don't think it's one of them
timed?
where like once the season finishes, they wipe that content. That those quest lines, I think, are still available and still there.
Okay,
I think.
You think? Fair enough.
I hope, because that was a really good quest line.
That was, yeah.
So,
I mean, I played it with you and I didn't have any sound and my buttons weren't working because we were trying to stream it and it was awful. But I mean, from what I was able to ascertain, it was really good. You basically carried me through the entire thing because I was like, you were like, Nick, why are you always like 5 seconds late every time you swing? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure this out. So yeah, way to go. I mean, this is not a shocker, only to a small bubble of people on Twitter who wanted to rage against it and other social media platforms. I think most everybody knew that this was a really wise decision by Xbox to drop these games. You know,
I think that's why they very carefully picked the games that they picked.
Right.
Because they knew that there was going to be a level of people wanted to play Hi-Fi Rush because it got such a huge like Game Awards showing, and then Grounded was one of the first game preview games that kind of was solid from the get-go and continued to be solid all the way through to version 1.
Yeah.
So they chose the games really carefully, and they chose games made by really good developers. So Tango Gameworks, Obsidian, for Grounded and stuff like that. So they were doing, they very carefully handpicked the games that are going across.
For sure. Yeah. Story number 3. Gears of War voice actor reckons we're due a Gear 6 announcement in June.
Yep. So I didn't realize it was. Is it him that actually voiced it? Liam McIntyre?
I'm guessing that's what they're telling us. That's what he's telling us.
Oh,
So
he
unless he's
voiced.
lying.
He played Spartacus in a really good TV series called Spartacus. So, I mean, I'd play the game just to hear him speak. Let's put it that way.
So I guess,
Um,
like, wouldn't he know? He's either teasing something he
oh,
knows, or he just thinks something's. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it could be like a hey in the future, but you would still think they would have already, if they're going to tease something in June, they would have already locked down contracts for like voice acting.
yeah. I think this is a tease. I think he's been told to say something. So
Yeah,
to
I could see
spark
that.
anybody that's interested in the game would be following him. So it
Yeah.
kind of it sparked somebody writing an article about it. So it's definitely some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not a voice actor, but I would think even if you're teasing that the game is starting in development, you think you'd want to like know who your voice actors were going to be. Not that they're like acting right now, but they would have at least been like, "Hey, there's a game coming. We're working on this. We'd like to get, are you available?"
Yeah.
So, but I don't
I
know.
mean, the article says this isn't a confirmation by any means. Even the actor himself, Mr. William McIntyre, seems unsure about the developers' plans. However, they have already one big rumor that Gear 6 will show up at Xbox Summer Showcase this year, and the correlation have been spotted to make some pretty big Gears-related hires recently. So all roads point towards some kind of June reveal. So
Sounds good. Very excited to see what happens in June, as always.
yep,
All
I'd
right.
like to go back to the franchise. I don't think I'd like to play the games I've already played previously, but I'd be happy for some Gears of War action.
Yeah. Well, we had 3 stories, and we listed 3 stories. Those are our top stories this week. News Bulletins 8-Bit Do unveils a budget-friendly Xbox controller with Hall effect sticks. That's pretty awesome. And if you're in the UK, the Xbox Series S toaster drops to the lowest price ever. You better pop out there and get it, or else you'll be
Oh, what
burnt.
is the lowest? I didn't even. Wow, £20. I don't. Oh, I don't know. I could buy that.
Mm-hmm.
I could.
You could.
Where can I buy it from? Curry's.
You could buy
Yeah,
it,
Curry's website.
but you need like 2 of them. Right next to each other.
I don't know about that.
Okay, you should buy one and tell me if the toast is any good, because I don't think it will be. I think it's gonna be like undone in the middle, because like the picture's all toasted, but the middle part is they're like somehow keeping it cool so that it doesn't toast. That doesn't seem very good.
Yeah, I could get that.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It's white, so it'd go in my kitchen as well.
There you go. You think Lindsay would? You think Lindsay would give you the green light on that?
I don't know. I think I should probably. I don't know. That's a bagel saying.
Wait.
How awesome's that?
Wait. Oh yeah, your Mother's Day is already up, isn't it? That was like a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
This might be my Father's Day present.
There
I
you
might
go. I was
gonna
gonna see. You're so much better than me. I was gonna be like, you can get it for Mother's Day. You'd be like, here, honey, I got you a toaster for Mother's Day. Oh my gosh, it's the Series S toaster. I didn't even notice that. That's crazy. I just thought it was white. It would go in the kitchen, honey.
If I bought Lindsay a toaster for Mother's Day, I think she'd make me take a bath with it.
The whole time.
Hey, look, I bought you this toaster for Mother's Day. Ah, you bought yourself a bath bomb.
The whole time you'd be like, dear Lord, I pray that they've got the double circuit working. Here we go. Okay, sorry. That's morbid. My bad.
I know my RCD works. I currently have an issue with my oven, so I know my RCD works.
There you go. You're good. All right. So there you is. I don't know where that went. Dark and deep. Xbox Series S toaster drops the lowest ever price. That was a news bulletin, but it went somewhere else. So there you go. Feature story. We are going to talk about the Fallout show right here, right now. Sean thinks you all have seen it because it's been out long enough. All 8 episodes. We're just going to talk about all of it. So
you've had a month. Look, you've had a month to watch it. If you haven't watched it, now is a good time to kind of skip forward by about 20 minutes.
20 minutes. I like it.
Yeah.
It's probably
maybe
true.
a little bit short. I don't know. But just be aware that we are going to say some things that if you don't already know about them, we'll then know about them. So.
Just skip forward until you hear the that's the dashboard intro sound, so you'll be just fine. Okay. Or if you're watching, skip forward until you see a magic sheet appear like it's gonna have a car and it doesn't. And then that's also the dashboard video intro. So then you'll know. So there you go. See?
Yep.
We're here for you. All right, it's in. So we've watched all 8 episodes. My biggest complaint with this show is that it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, that was going to be my only complaint.
No, I thought it was great. I thought the story was good. The writing is funny. The acting's great. They did a great job with all the cinematography. I mean, the whole thing is fantastic. I'm gonna lean on you to talk about like the lore, because I don't like the how it delves into the game, because I'm not really there. I'm here for the entertainment and for fun.
So the ending of the last episode, where Henry's in the cage and she's talking about all the, who the real bad guy is, and it kind of alludes to the fact that Vault-Tec wanting to make as much money as possible of the fact that they were building all these vaults that nobody would be keeping an eye on, so they could do what they want to do inside them, to like Robocop and all the other companies that we see listed in the Fallout games and within the Fallout lore. They are the bad guys. Basically, they dropped the bombs. They made these vaults that were going to be proof enough to withstand nuclear blasts and stuff like that, and obviously wanted to make money and get as much revenue and people invested in these and stuff like that. Is they were kind of like, look, we can make sure that these people are in these vaults because we can drop the bombs. We can do it. We can, wipe out the entire enemy on the surface, because obviously this was in a time where they were at war and things like that. We can just wipe the slate clean, disappear off into these vaults, and then kind of come out when everything's safe and there's nobody around, and we can rebuild our world. I mean, the whole premise of what Fault 31, 32, and 33 are is 31 is holding all of Bud's buds. So all the people that, the high ups and the big wigs of Vault-Tec were kind of frozen in stasis and, kind of brought out and bred to hopefully breed the most pleasant and nicest management people in the world that they could do. But yeah, that one tiny piece of information, which wasn't a tiny piece of information, which like a huge piece of information, completely changes even the intro part to Fallout 4 for me. Where the Vault-Tec guy comes at the door and he's like, hey, yeah, just in case on that in-timely thing where there's a nuclear blast, you're in the vault, woohoo! And it's like Vault-Tec knew, and like I started the game this evening and I was like, yeah, that's got a completely different taste to it now.
Yeah, didn't we always kind of assume that they weren't the good guy though? I mean, I don't know. I didn't play very much of Fallout 4, but I assumed they weren't the good guy. I guess I didn't assume they dropped the bombs, but there was something about it that seemed off, right? I mean, something about it didn't seem right.
Well, whenever you go into a different vault and they've done different tests and stuff like that, you kind of think to yourself, okay, the whole of Vault 111 in Fallout 4 is a test of, we're doing tests on people to see how unknown subjects can be held in stasis and for how long or what it does to them. Mm-hmm. So, that side of it doesn't paint Vault-Tec in a pretty picture, but that's pretty much what happens during any war. Is you look at World War II and what the Germans did in terms of the forward in for medicine. They did horrific things to people, and it was absolutely outrageous what they were doing. But how well they forward medicine from that is, one of those things that comes with absolute genocide.
So what you're saying is, we knew they weren't good guys. We just didn't know they were like the bad guys, I guess is the way. Yeah. Like we thought they were just using an opportunity that they didn't create. We didn't realize that they created the opportunity. So yeah,
exactly. That's it. Yeah. That's what makes them worse than they already were. If that makes sense. Yeah. at all
No, that does.
possible. But yeah, I mean, and that little hint. So like you watch the first episode, and like within the first 60 seconds of the first episode, there's a news bulletin saying that like the president can't be at this meeting because for unforeseen circumstances. Um, that is Bethesda doing a really really sneaky trick of telling us exactly what's going to happen and exactly the premise behind everything within the first 60 seconds of the show. But it's one of them things that's just in the background. You don't really notice it because you're so excited to watch the show. You're like looking at everything that's happening. You're trying to pick up all the different bits, like, oh, look, there's Codsworth there. And oh, yeah, they're drinking Nuka Cola and the sugar bombs out on the side. And everyone's like, oh, look at this egg, look at this egg. Like, it was pointed out to me by somebody else. And I was like, nah, you got to be kidding. So I went back and listened to it. I was like, oh, okay, yep. Fair enough. So, but everything about the show, I've absolutely loved. I liked the characters, the choice of actors for the characters, just everything about it is, like you said, it's a shame that it's only 8 episodes long. So.
It is, and yeah, you don't know how long you're gonna have to wait for season 2. I imagine at least a year.
Yeah, Sony just recently had the go ahead. I mean, I can't understand how it took them to release the first series and then watch everybody's reaction and go, yeah, okay, we'll make another one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm totally excited for it.
I think they've broken the mold as well when it comes to taking a game and making a series about it. Because as much as The Last of Us did a really, really good job, there wasn't much in The Last of Us that was kind of like lore in terms of like the vaults and the outfits and the goals and the whole premise and the world that's created within Fallout. Because The Last of Us was basically zombies that were driven by mushrooms that were just in our normal world. There wasn't like a pretend universe built around this. So The Last of Us kind of did a really good job of staying true to the storyline.
Yeah.
But they didn't have much of a lore to stick to. Where like The Witcher, that series has now been cancelled because they are strewn so far away from the lore of the game that the fans, even Henry Cavill, the guy that plays the main character, has turned around and said, I don't want to be part of that because you are not sticking to the lore of The Witcher. You've come away from it and stuff. You're kind of ruining the atmosphere. I think what Bethesda have done with MGM and Amazon is they've broke the mold. They've kind of turned around and said to everybody, look, if you want to make a great series based on a game, you have to stick to the lore. Don't stray away from it. I mean, I think that's how things like the live action Pokemon movie has done such a really good job because they stuck to the lore of Pokemon and like how we, like, I'm a big Pokemon fan. How we feel that Pokemon would be integrated into the world. They've done that with like having Detective Pikachu as a detective and stuff like that, and then like all the different bits and pieces. So I think that's one of the other reasons why the show has done so well is it's sticking to the law and it's representing the game really well. And they've added things in the series, so like they've made the ghouls a little bit more apparent than just the mindless zombies that they are in the game. Ghouls are kind of the thing that are walking around that you come across quite often that you just shoot. But like to have a ghoul that's not a mindless zombie that is quite intelligent and quite driven and objective driven is interesting as well. So
yeah, I think you're right. I think it's you have to stick to the environment, the lore that a video game has created when you're doing that. I personally I thought The Last of Us was great. For me, it was great though because I had never played The Last of Us, so it was a brand new experience for me. But what I love about Fallout is it's not following it's not following the storyline. I don't know, not that Last of Us followed it beat for beat, but it's not following the storyline of a video game. It's taking the lore, sticking to it, and then making another story and adding to that history of lore and doing it in a way that it doesn't like screw up everything that was before it. And so, or everything that you've played as a gamer. And I think that is what makes Fallout so great. It adds to the story, it adds to what you know, like you've been talking about, but it doesn't like make everything, doesn't muck everything up. And so I think that's one of the great things that they've done. And Halo kind of does that too. I think to some degree they're adding to a story, to the lore and the history of the environment. Although I know Halo fans might disagree, but
you see, that's where I agree with you. I think that they've done a really good job at adding a level of depth to Halo that wasn't there from the game, but have brought across the characters and the lore and all those bits and pieces and how Cortana works and fits. I think they've done a really good job of pulling all that in, but adding so much depth, giving Master Chief a bit more personality in it, and you can kind of understand who and what he is rather than just this masked killing machine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I love it. I think I've said it on this podcast. I know I said it to you. I don't know if I said it on the podcast, but they need to just go hog wild with Halo environment. I mean, stick with the lore, stick with the history. Don't screw it all up, but have some fun with it. Give it to some crazy, some other studios. Give it to Obsidian after they're done with Avowed. Let them do some fun stuff with it. It doesn't always have to be the Master Chief. The environment they created is pretty awesome. I mean, I don't want like Halo tennis, but I mean, we don't have to go like Mario kind of crazy, but but I think they could write some pretty cool stories just in the environment.
Yeah. The one last thing I will say about the Fallout show before we move into the dashboard is the timeline of everything as well. So, like the bombs drop, and then 200 years later, we have like Fallout. 212 years later, we have Fallout 4. The Fallout show is set roughly around the same time as Fallout 4. So, like the landscapes that we're seeing are kind of been picked from the Fallout 4 game. So you've got like the flats where the Brotherhoods are, and you've got like the Red Rocket scene is there, the garage area, which I thought was really nice when they brought that across. And then there's all the events and everything in between that kind of happen. So the Sandy Shores or Sandy?
That's the town, right?
Yeah, I think that's the town.
Up. I think it is.
Yeah. So that's part of the New Vegas area. Like you said before we started this, you pointed that out. I completely forgot about that. But the last scene in the last episode where he lands in the desert and he starts marching towards the Las Vegas Strip in the Nevada desert.
Mm-hmm.
We're now going to be looking at a New Vegas area, or they could go back and replay a bit of the New Vegas and give us some events to show us how it got to the absolute trash heap that it looked at in the end of the last scene, because they've got to bring that. That's something they're going to have to do. Is they're going to have to look at how it ended in New Vegas and bring that into the series to kind of stay with the timeline of everything. Because if you start, that's the other thing as well, sticking to the law, you've got to stick to the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
If you start messing around with the timeline of events and stuff, you're going to get people really pissed off really quick. So yeah, I'm keen to see what happens next, and how they take this and how they use the New Vegas landscape and bits and pieces like that. So
definitely. Totally great series. Can't wait to see season 2. We are now, though, off to the dashboard. The dashboard, where we talk about games we have been playing, games on our docket that we want to play, and, 5 or 6 squirrel events somewhere in between there. Sean, what have you been playing?
So this is now my opportunity to say what I've been playing and why I'm swapping what I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I started out playing Fallout 76. I played it for a hot second a few years ago and didn't get on with it because it was new, it was hot, it was fresh, but I was late to the game, so I wasn't at a really good level. I was getting smashed to pieces by what was veteran players there who were massively higher level to me. And it felt like everything was absolutely flooded. It felt like the landscape was flooded with too many people that were trying to just constantly be dicks in the game. They have weeded that out, either because people have fallen off, which I don't think it's a case because at one point there was like 1.1 million people playing it at the same time as me. But I wasn't coming in. The veteran planes that were there were quite helpful, and they were leaving stuff on the floor for me because I was at a low level. They were just dropping items, and it was really nice. It was like a really good interaction. You can use emojis in it or emojicons, so like you can do the thumbs up, and your character like actually do a thumbs up and wave and like show a love heart and stuff like that. So people have been really helpful. The missions though were a bit few and far between. I felt like I was doing a lot of wandering around and not getting a lot for my wandering around. I put 10, nearly 11 hours into the game so far on 76, and don't feel like I've achieved a right lot. I feel like I've been to a few places, but I don't feel like I've achieved a few things. And then the constant, like, this event's happening, or this mission's happening, and trying to keep on top of the daily events and the weekly events and stuff like that. It was getting a bit too much. This is one of the reasons why I don't like an online style game all the time, because sometimes it can just it can become too much, especially when you're trying to learn how the game is as well. So like the leveling up system is completely different to Fallout 4. Like in Fallout 4, you blast a few things, you level up, you pick your perk within the special category. So strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Look at that. I can remember them all. Where in Fallout 76, you open a card pack and you get a load of cards depending on what you choose. You can then level up the specific letter in special, and then you can stack your cards against it for different attributes and bits and pieces like that. I couldn't quite get my head around it, but because you're trying to get into the game really quickly and stuff like that, I didn't take the time to fully understand it and bits and pieces like that. And then the other side of it is weapons break, so you have to repair them often. And there's a thirst and hunger element to it as well. So you've always got to make sure you're carrying some kind of food and some kind of water to like the survival instinct of it.
Yeah, I have heard that. It's annoying initially because you're always boiling water or whatever.
Yeah. So, constantly smashing through Radaway to get rid of radiation poisoning because you picked up stuff you can drink, and obviously it gives you some form of radiation poisoning. But because you haven't got the recipes to make stuff, it becomes quite difficult. So, when I caught wind of the next gen update, I downloaded and updated Fallout 4. I've started a new save on that, and the thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's got rid of all the washy kind of colors that Fallout 4 did have when you were playing it on a next gen console. It doesn't look as faded. It doesn't look as rough around the edges. Everything's smoothed out. It's not as jerky and as janky as I remember it being. It's been really smooth to play. I've had no like blips or errors, stuff like that. So I'm probably going to play more Fallout 4 than I am 76 because I like the single player aspect of Fallout 4. It comes away from it being online. You can play it multiplayer if you want to. You're not forced to, but you can play it that way, I believe.
I didn't know that.
You kind of like do co-op missions, but the progression isn't carry across.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So I think progression sticks to the host. I don't think it's mutual across both host and visitor. So yeah, so I've started a new Fallout save, which was nice to delete that really long play that I had. I don't think I'm going to do what I did last time I played it, where I got to a point where I had like 4 or 5 different saves depending on which fraction I was going with. I'm gonna just play it and then choose a path and go for it. So
nice.
Yeah, but so far enjoying it. Because it's added the colors have changed. Like the graphics look a lot better, and the way it plays is smooth. It's just like playing. It's playing a new version of the game. It's really nice. So,
Well, I look forward to hearing more of your Fallout journey.
yep. Before I started Fallout 4, I played a little bit of Jedi Survivor. The game's really nice to play. Really good graphics, flows really well, plays really well. The combat is a bit sporadic, but for me, I haven't ever really played much of a Star Wars game for battles and fighting and stuff like that. So if it's something that if it plays like any other one where you kind of like hack slash, dodge, block, use the force to drag, like you've got all them components to kind of work in, stuff like that. So I'm finding it a bit difficult. But the story's nice. The like running around the parkour kind of things of the traversing the environment is really good. So like the climbing is really cool. Like you can wall run across stuff. You can do a Jedi Force double jump and stuff like that. It's quite nice. And the skill tree system is quite easy. You use meditation spots to recover health and increase your skill tree. So all of this is pretty good. So it is a nice game. I just don't know if it's going to hold my attention as much as going back to Fallout 4. But that's purely because Star Wars is one of those things that I wasn't fully into. I think I've said it before. I enjoyed like the stuff, like the space flying, dogfighting kind of things, and the pod racing rather than like the actual lore and story of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. I am actually going through them with the kiddos right now, from the beginning. So not how they actually came out, but like episode 1 to whatever in the timeline. So we are about to go. We are about to start what is the 7 whatever episode 4, I believe it is, the one that came out, the first one. So the one that came out in 77. So
kids are going to get a really good history of what sci-fi was like back in the day.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. We just saw something from 2005, and now they're about to see something from 1977. So it should be fun. It should be interesting. We've prepped them as much as we could, right? We told them, we're like, all right, we're about to go back in the graphics.
Hey, look, kids, Yoda is going to move really slowly and rigidly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been fun to see them, but also fun for me, to be honest, because I haven't gone through. I mean, I watched them as they dropped, and to be honest, I was kind of like, I don't really remember what happened in the last time I watched the Star Wars. So it's been interesting to go through them quicker and know what's happened in the past, and so it's been fun, good times.
And then the last thing I want to talk about, it isn't a game that I've been playing or anything like that. It's something I've been listening to. I went on a day out with one of the guys from work, Lewis, to do a bit of mountain biking. And he said he likes to listen to like true crime kind of podcasts and stories and stuff like that when he's relaxing to kind of like switch off. Episode 387 from UK True Crime Podcast.
Okay.
Hi, Siri. So anyway, he was telling me about stuff he'd been listening to. He says I was listening to one thing and how like Spotify works, and it kind of smart shuffled into something else. And he said he kind of woke up and he was listening to this podcast story, and he was like, "Oh, what's this like? What on earth has Spotify done here?" And then, like he said, as he started listening to it, he was like, "I actually really enjoyed this." So there's a podcast group called the Seven Lambs Productions. They make an array of story style true crime podcasts and things like that. The one I've been listening to in particular is one called Tower 4. I think I spoke about how I started it last week. I was just kind of alluding to just getting into it. I have now listened to all the episodes. There is 3 seasons. I think there is 10 episodes per season. Season 1, like the episodes are going to last like half an hour. But as you get into like season 3, the episodes are lasting like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes per episode. And there's only 6 episodes available at the moment for season 3. The guys are pretty good at keeping people up to date on their X feed. So they're saying like to make an episode is about 40 to 50 hours work to make one episode. They've
Wow.
got 4 more episodes to come for season 3. And episode 10 of season 3 is going to be a 2-hour long spectacle.
40 to 50 hours.
Yeah.
For a
Well,
2-hour episode. That's crazy.
I don't know if that's just editing. So obviously they've got to do all the script work is there. So they're reading a story and stuff, and they're doing lines, and obviously the voice actors have got to be available. But then when they edit in sounds. Like when they're talking, as if they're talking and they're walking through the woods. Like they have the sound effects of people stepping and like rustling of like rucksacks and stuff like that, and leaves and things. It is a really, really cool series to listen to. If you like audiobooks, but you want that a little bit more immersion than than somebody reading a book, these things are amazing. I have, like I said, I have listened to them all. Like when I've been walking the dog, or like I've been driving, or if I've been doing chores around the house, or even just laid in bed. I can get a whole episode laid down in bed,
awesome.
Listen to the whole like episode. Really, really good. It's something I've never been into before, but I can't wait for the next episode to drop. And it's like the last one dropped 18th of March, so I'm hoping episode 7 will drop in the next like 2 weeks.
Nice. Very, very cool. And we already talked kind of what's on your docket with Have a Nice Death. You didn't really say, are you into another Crab's Treasure? Are you going to give it a go or not so much?
I am not sure. I've looked at it twice to like set it going to download, but then at the same time, I've just got Jedi Survivour and Fallout 4, so I don't know how much I want to be sidetracked.
Yeah.
If I had a backbone or something that worked a little bit better than just my controller with my phone, then I might be tempted to try it via the cloud. But
yeah, that makes sense. Well, for me this week, I have played. I finished the little Gator game. I've talked about this enough. Charming, wonderful Zelda, love letter to Zelda. In a very enemy kind of. You're just a kid going around in a live action role playing game. It's a really fun. I played Harold Halibut. I think for about 5 hours so far. I am enjoying it. I did not realize you could press and hold X to run. That would have made my first 30 minutes much more enjoyable because he walks very slow. My only thing at this point, I will say, it seems very like one path. So it's like you're just kind of fetching whatever he needs you to do, whatever somebody's put you on. Hasn't been a lot of puzzles or anything, but what I will say is the story's got me. Like I got to a point now where I found a thing and I want to know what's going on in this world at this point. So even if it is just a one path game, the voice acting is pretty good. The art style's fun because it's got that claymation type thing going on, and the story is such that you keep keep trying. You keep trying to figure out what's next. So I will probably see this one through to an end. I also beat Figment. This is a way back machine, man. This came out on Game Pass a long time ago. This is not a new drop. I've been eating away at it, slow but sure. And it's only like a 5-hour game, but I've just been playing whenever I had a moment and there wasn't anything else I wanted to do. I played Figment, and they're actually Figment 2. I've got it downloaded now. Is on Game Pass as well. But it wasn't when I downloaded this game 100 years ago. And so it's like a top-down 2.5D hack and slash. Like there's not much here. You're rolling. I think you got 2 separate like strong and weak attacks. But it's all in the story in this game. It's all about your courage, and you've lost the courage to be courage for. You're like almost view it as like a Psychonaut-esque type game where you kind of like go into this guy's mind, and they're trying to wake up courage because there's been a traumatic event happen. You're like, well, you're needed. And you're like, I haven't been needed in forever. You don't need me. And then so now there's like nightmares and all kinds of like fear and depression and anxiety, and they're all fighting, and you got to try to get your way into his conscious and make him like have the courage to fight through this event. It has the story's great, but I will say you don't really feel the story unless you get to the end. Like you're kind of just going through the motions until you get to the end, and then if you get all the way to the end, the last like 30 minutes really wraps up the story, and you're like, oh wow, this is cool. Good news, it's 4 to 5 hours, so it's not like you got to trudge through 20 hours of gameplay to get to that 30-minute finale. So so Little Gator Game, Harold Halibut, and Figment. Those are what I have been playing. I will continue to play Harold Halibut. I've downloaded Figment too because I want to at least give it a go. And I will download another. Actually, I probably won't download another Crab's Treasure. I will probably try it on xCloud and see what I think of it there, and then go. If I get my little crab ass whooped too much and I start to cry, then I won't worry about it. And if I like it, then I probably will download it. So see what happens from there. And that is my dashboard.
Awesome. I mean, you've been very busy. You kind of dropped a list of the stuff that you've been up to with new refrigerators, patio projects that are just growing arms and legs, and then obviously getting ready for all your fundraising bits and pieces that you do. So
yeah, it's been a crazy week. So I actually haven't played. I played all that last week. The end of last week, like I had this window, and maybe it wasn't a window, to be honest, Sean. Maybe I'm paying this week for my window. Like when I think about it, I probably could have been doing some of this stuff, like at least 20-ish%. I probably been doing it in my window, in air quotes, that I had to play games. But I took like Thursday and Friday last week and really just played a bunch of stuff. All that stuff I talked about, I played Thursday and Friday, and a little bit Saturday. A Little Gator Game I played with Noah on Saturday. So yeah, it might have been less of a window and more of like just a delay of responsibilities that I am now reaping what I sowed. But whatever, it's adulting and it was fun. So I wouldn't.
Yeah, welcome to adulting and parenthood.
That's right.
So
yeah,
cool. I don't think there's any questions for this week. So I shall roll us out and take us to the end. Thanks very much, everybody, for hanging around and listening. We apologize if you start listening to the feature story and have things ruined for the Fallout series, but by now you should listen to it. And we did give you pre-warning, so don't come at us. Yeah. Don't forget to follow the link in the description for getting a Gamecraft subscription. Obviously, it works well with us. Our affiliation with Xbox is there. It's strong. So yeah, please use that. Also, don't forget to check out the Twitter accounts for myself and Nick. I've said them pretty much enough now, and they are in the video link underneath us down here. Also, GPT Gaming News for the main one, which kind of backs the show and everything like that. Go give those guys some love. They do a fantastic job of getting all the information out for all the new games, and then little bits of videos and images as well for them. And there's also some big news out there. Some people joining the team and stuff like that. So we've got Alan Freely, who is Idle Sloth, massive name in the Xbox community. He's out in there, and Sabrina Tran, who's also joined the crew. Welcome. Hello all. So yeah, anyway, thanks very much again for listening, guys, and until next week, we shall see you later.
See you later, guys.